I'm Jason, the world is yours, and today we have a story about Warzone 2 player count dropping at a higher rate than expected. The Warzone 2 player count has dropped significantly at a higher rate than expected, according to a report from Charlie Intel. So while it's not a surprise that the number of players for a multiplayer game has dropped, I wouldn't say several months. It's been only what, 2 months, right? I think it's been about 2 months. I don't think it's been 3 months, but let's say a couple of months after the launch. It seems that the players are leaving Warzone 2 faster than usual for several reasons. Okay, possible reasons why players have left Warzone 2. While there are no figures on the number of players for Warzone 2 on PS5 and PS4, they are available for the PC version via Steam charts. Following the player count stats for the game over the last few months. Okay, you see it dropped November 19th, so it's less than 3 months, literally less than 3 months. It had a peak of only 488,000 players on November 19th, 2022, which made sense since that was the first Sunday after the game's launch. That figure has continued to drop steadily to about an average of only 120,000 players over the past week. Wow. Twitter users responding to Charlie Intel's report provide a few explanation on why players are leaving this specific Call of Duty variant. Looking at replies at the high with a high number of likes. One user remains disappointed with about the lack of recorded stats for Warzone 2. Others say that it's missing a wealth of features from the original Warzone that hasn't added all that much new since the launch. Other reasons could be some players just want the popular Verdansk map from Warzone 1 back. There are also plenty of other Battle Royals games to choose from, like Fortnite and Apex Legends. Okay, wow. Wow. Okay, so I mean, the main point of this story is that 3 months ago, the game had a peak at less than 500,000, 488,000. But if you look at that figure right now, I mean, what, 120,000 players? We're talking almost basically a fifth, right? You would say if you just want to average, sometimes you average up, sometimes you average down. I would say for the peak, you would average up, right? You would average, say, 500,000. But then if you look at the average now, you say 120, that's pushing it. So it could be 150. But for that average, I want to average that low, right? I'm going to just say 100. So if, when the game was released 3 months ago, 500,000, which isn't the highest number in the world, right? That's not crazy and significant numbers, obviously, because you can see how many people dropped off from 500,000 3 months later. But to go from basically a peak of 500,000 November 19th to an average of about 100,000 January 9th, 3 months later, or less than 3 months later, that is a extremely significant drop. You would think, 3 months from now, this game will almost clearly be averaging under 100,000 players. And we're talking about a game that hasn't even been out for 6 months, right? Averaging under 100,000 players, one of the biggest releases, one of the most hyped releases. Warzone 2 came out Warzone 1 came out many years ago. Was it pre-pandemic, around that time? So it's been over 3-4 years since Warzone 1 came out. So definitely disappointing for Warzone 2 to have only be averaging basically less than 100,000 players. And maybe this is the bottom. Maybe it's going to average about 120 to about 200 for the next few months. Obviously, there will be a lot more buffs to the game, and I'm pretty sure the developers are looking at things they can add to the game. I don't really think that they're gonna add 200, 300,000 more players if they just throw in the Verdansk map. that could probably be bringing up maybe another 50 to maybe about 100,000, but I can't imagine if they even put Verdansk, maybe even 200,000. Maybe you can get up to 250, maybe 300 with Verdansk if it's really that big of a deal. But I don't really hear people really complaining about the map, right? Like, the map is the map. It's cool. It's not really the reason. I don't think that's necessarily the reason as to why people are not playing the game, right? I don't think it's just the map. Like I said, if you add Verdansk back, that definitely will bring more users back. Some people who want to play that map, but you need to get more to the casual outside of the hardcore players. And I don't really know what Warzone 2 could really do to add to even get back to 300,000, 400,000, and even get above that 500,000 player count. But let me know your opinion of this story. Have you played Warzone 2? Have you left Warzone 2, or have you never played Warzone 2 at all? I'm Jason. The world is yours. Today we have some news about a game that's only been out less than 3 months. Warzone 2 player count dropping at a higher rate than expected from the peak of 488,897,000 players on November 19, 2023 to 3 months later, less than 3 months later, averaging only 120,000 players, basically a fifth of the player count 3 months ago. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the $1 donation button, and please tune in to the next video on this channel. Thanks a million for watching.